your paper books, whatever you want to call it, 2, 3.
I call it featured zeros of a function.
Open your packets to section 3. Label 9, 18, 13. This is a pretty easy section. Zeros of a function. Here's what I'll say about this. Zeros of a function is just a catchy name for any time the ranges value is the number 0. So if you put 5 in for x and get 0 out, guess what you say a 0 is? The number 5 is a 0. Because when you put that number in, what do you get as an answer? 0. So we'll say the number you put in for x is the 0. And the zeros of the function. Number 1. What are the zeros? The number you put in for x and get 0 as the answer is a 0 of the function. It's another way of saying, if I said to you, another way of saying the 0 here would say, what ordered pairs have 0 in the range? In other words, the answer is, what numbers when x was equal to this did we get y equal to 0? Were there any numbers here? When we put 3 in for x, what was y? So is 3 a 0? Because we got what as an answer? Okay, when we put 2 in for x, what do we get as an answer?
0.
So is 2 a 0?
Yes.
Yes, 2 is a 0 of the function. Here, when I put 5 in for x, what did I get as an answer for y?
0.
So is 5 a 0?
Yes.
5 is also a 0 of the function. Here I put what? 8 in for x. Did I get 0? I got what? What did I get for y?
-2.
When I did that, I got -2. So that's not a 0, is it? Because I didn't get a 0 for the y. Here I put what? 9 in for x. and got what for y?
1.
So is 9 a 0?
No.
No. The only things that are zeros are the ones where you get the x that you put in and get what for y?
0.
0. Make sense?
Yes.
So when they give you a bunch of ones like this, all you got to do is look for the ones that have what as a y.
0.
Easy enough. That's the really easy one. Here's the one that people have problems with. Does everybody have to stop one down? Or I need to leave that up there? I need to leave it up there for a little. Our next one is find the zeros of the function f of x is equal to 2x minus 6. What in the world are you going to do here? Well, this is our rule, right? We learned that yesterday. This is the pattern for this is what makes this a function. That every time you put a number in for x, 2 times x minus 6 is what changes that number. You guys remember that we made f of, when we put 1 into this machine, it becomes 2 times what? 1 minus what?
6.
Which gives you 2 minus 6, which gives you negative 4. So if I was writing that as an ordered pair, it would be 1 comma negative 4. Right? So what we need are the x's that when we put it in, what do we get as an answer? 0. You know the only thing you do here? Basically, the zeros are when 2x minus 6 is equal to, what do you think? 0. And what do we do next? We solve for x. So how would I solve for x here? What would I do?
Plus 6 both sides.
I'd add 6 to both sides. I'd get 2x is equal to 6. What would I do now? X is equal to what? So what are the zeros of the function? 3. Because look, you put 3 in, 3 up 2 is 6, minus 6 is?
So is there just going to be 1 0 on those?
When it's like this, and I'm getting ready to do an example where there's actually 2 zeros. It is possible to have more than 1 0. Let's do the same thing here. Except let's make our function here, f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 18. What should give the difference? What is the big difference between these two problems?
This one's squared.
This one has a variable what?
Squared.
This one has x basically, if you don't realize, that's to the first. A lot of times, most of the time, whatever that power is how many answers you probably have. Whether you're solving it, whether you're finding the zeros or whatever. Here, there's what? It's what? Squared. So there's probably going to be how many zeros? 2. The only time there wouldn't be is if your 0 was 0. Because basically positive negative 0 is 0. But anyway. Most of the time, if it's to the squared, there's going to be 2 answers. So, what's our deal here? We want to find out whatever we put in for x that gets us 0 as an answer. So what do? We take this and we set it equal to, all of that equal to what? 0. Everybody okay with that? Now, okay, so I got a squared there. How do I solve this? We'll get into how you solve ones that, when you do it by factoring or by things like that, but when all you have is an x squared term, you don't have an x term too, you can just solve it just like this one, and then when you get to this point, you take the square root of both sides. So what we're going to do first is we're going to add 18 to both sides. So what am I left with on the left side? 2x squared is equal to what? 18. Well, I don't want to know what 2x squared is equal to. I want to know what 1x squared is equal to. So what do? Divide by 2. So I get x squared is equal to 9. At this point, you don't want to know what x squared is equal to. You want to know what x is equal to. So you take the square root here, and the square, because the square, what number could I square and get x squared as an answer? The answer is x. Now here's the thing that a lot of you in some of the other maths do not realize. What would you say the square root of 9 is? What would your first reaction be? 3. This is asking what number could I square and get that as your answer. So in other words, 3 squared is what? 9, right? Can you guys think of another number I could square and get 9 as the answer? The reason you said the square root of 9 was 3 is because 3 times 3 is equal to 9, right? Guess what else? Negative 3 times negative 3 is also equal to a positive what? So it's positive 3 and what? So there's how many answers? 2. How you'll see this written is they'll put positive negative 3. Guess what that means? Positive 3 and what? It's the lazy way of writing 3 comma negative 3. Okay, but it means 2 numbers. Okay? So anytime you take the square root, guess what you're going to have? I want you to realize that the answer isn't 3, it's a what? Positive negative 3. Like the square root of 16 is what?
4.
Not just 4, it's positive negative 4. Okay? That's probably the biggest difference to what we're doing today with the zeros. It's something you haven't done a whole lot of. Okay? We're going to do numbers 1 through 15. Once again, right problem. Draw the figures, show all the steps and work. There's not any figures to draw here, but I would think I would need to see all of that. Wouldn't you think? I mean, I told you guys on like 2-1 or 2-2, you guys, I was giving so few problems and it was so easy. I gave you graph paper. I wanted you to draw the figures on those. And I still got people that turned them in early that didn't do it. I don't get it.